The message came at exactly noon, Earth time. Every screen, every device, every communication system on the planet showed the same thing. A massive alien face filled the displays. Its skin was purple and covered in scars. 4 yellow eyes stared down at humanity with cold hatred. People of Earth. The creature spoke in perfect English. I am Admiral Zekthar of the Galactic Hegemony Fleet. Your time is over. In homes, offices, and streets around the world, humans stopped what they were doing. Children pointed at the screens. Adults grabbed each other's hands. Everyone listened. For too long, you have spread like a disease through our galaxy. You have taken 3 star systems that do not belong to you. You have built colonies where you have no right to exist. This ends now. The alien's voice was deep and threatening. Behind him, other creatures moved in the shadows. Some had too many arms. Others had teeth like knives. All of them looked hungry for violence. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Every human must return to Earth. You must destroy your ships. You must never leave this solar system again. If you refuse, we will send the culling. The screen changed to show thousands of warriors. Each one looked different, but all were terrifying. Some were 10 feet tall, with armor covering their entire bodies. Others had claws instead of hands. A few seemed to be made of living shadows. 10,000 killers, Zekthar continued. Each one is the best fighter from their world. Each one has destroyed entire cities. Each one wants to taste human blood. They have been waiting for this moment. The creatures on screen roared and howled. Some banged weapons against shields. Others simply smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. These are not soldiers. These are not warriors. These are death itself, given form and purpose. They do not take prisoners. They do not show mercy. They exist only to end lives. Around the world, military leaders rushed to emergency meetings. Politicians made desperate phone calls. Scientists tried to calculate if Earth had any chance of survival. Look at them, humans. The Vorthan shadow stalkers can become invisible to your eyes. They killed an entire planet without anyone seeing them coming. The Krillian berserkers cannot be stopped by your weapons. They regenerate from any wound. They feel no pain. More creatures appeared on screen. One had 6 arms, each holding a different weapon. Another seemed to be made of metal and electricity. A third had no face at all. Just a mouth full of teeth. The Nexari Mindhunters will drive you insane before they kill you. The Gorvak Bonebreakers will tear you apart with their bare hands. Each species has spent thousands of years perfecting the art of murder. Now they want to practice on you. In the background, human governments tried to contact their space colonies. The messages were desperate. Prepare for evacuation. Return to Earth immediately. This is not a drill. Your colonies are already surrounded, Zekthar said, as if reading their minds. Your space stations are being watched. Every human ship in the galaxy is marked for destruction. There is nowhere to run. The alien leaned closer to the camera. His 4 eyes seemed to look directly at each person watching. But we are not without mercy. Surrender now. And most of you will live as slaves. Refuse, and we will send our killers to hunt down every man, woman, and child. They will find you in your homes. They will find you in your hiding places. They will find you in your dreams. Children started crying. Adults held them close. Everyone felt the same cold fear in their stomachs. We know your species. You are weak. You are soft. You have lived in peace for too long. You have forgotten what real danger feels like. Our killers have not forgotten. They remember the taste of fear. They remember the sound of screaming. The screen showed more warriors. Some rode on creatures that looked like dragons. Others carried guns that glowed with strange energy. All of them looked ready to kill. 72 hours, Zekthar repeated. That is all the time you have. Send us your surrender, or face the culling. Choose quickly. Choose wisely. Choose to live. The message ended. Every screen went black for a moment. Then normal programming returned, but nobody was watching anymore. People stood in silence, thinking about what they had just heard. In government buildings, leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to surrender immediately. All of them knew that 10,000 alien killers was more than Earth could handle. The military counted their weapons. They had nuclear missiles, laser systems, and orbital defense platforms. But they had seen the creatures on the screen. Normal weapons might not work against things that could regenerate or become invisible. Hours passed. Messages flew between Earth and the colonies. Families said goodbye to each other across the vast distances of space. Everyone prepared for the worst. Then, exactly 24 hours after the alien ultimatum, Earth's response came. It was not from the president. It was not from the military leaders. It was not from any politician. A quiet voice spoke on an encrypted channel that somehow reached every alien ship in the galaxy. Message received and understood. We acknowledge your ultimatum. We will send our people to meet yours. The alien commanders who heard this message laughed. The humans had clearly misunderstood the numbers. 10,000 killers against all of humanity, and they would send their people? How many could they possibly send? 1 million? 10 million? It did not matter. The culling would destroy them all. But in a small, hidden facility on Earth, 2 people received their orders. They packed light. They checked their equipment one last time. They said goodbye to no one, because no one knew they existed. The galaxy was about to learn something new about humanity. Something that would change everything. Something that would make them wish they had chosen a different species to threaten. The countdown had begun. While the galaxy's deadliest killers prepared for war, Earth's response was so simple, it seemed like a joke. 2 people walked onto a small spacecraft at a secret base in Nevada. The ship looked ordinary, like thousands of others that traveled between planets every day. Nothing about it suggested it carried Earth's answer to 10,000 alien warriors. The first person was a woman in her 30s with short black hair and calm brown eyes. She wore simple gray clothes and carried a small bag. Anyone who saw her would think she was a teacher or a librarian. They would be partly right. Her name was Sarah Chen, but those who knew her work called her the Reaper. The second person was a man, also in his 30s, with blonde hair and blue eyes. He was tall, but not too tall, strong but not too strong. Everything about him was perfectly average. This was not an accident. His name was Marcus Volkov, but he had not used that name in years. Most people called him Ghost. When they called him anything at all, Sarah checked her equipment one more time. She had no weapons that alien scanners could detect. No guns, no knives, no explosives. Instead, she had things that looked innocent, a pen that was actually a poison injector, glasses that could hack any computer system, a watch that could create electromagnetic pulses, but her real weapons were her hands, her mind, and her patience. Marcus did the same check, but his equipment was even simpler. He had clothes that could change color to match any background, shoes that made no sound on any surface, gloves that left no fingerprints and could cut through most materials. His greatest tool was something no alien could understand. He could make people forget they had seen him, not through technology or telepathy, but through perfect timing and understanding of how minds work. "Ready?" Sarah asked. "Always," Marcus replied. They had worked together before, though no official records showed this. During the Mars colony crisis, when terrorists took over 3 major cities, these 2 had ended the conflict in 6 hours. The terrorists simply disappeared, one by one, until only confused prisoners remained. In the Jupiter mining incident, when corporate soldiers tried to take over the gas processing stations, Sarah and Marcus had turned the corporations against each other. By morning, the soldiers were fighting among themselves while the miners escaped safely. Each time, the public never learned their names. The enemies never saw them coming. The problems just stopped. "So," Sarah said as their ship left Earth's atmosphere, 10,000 killers. "Seems like overkill," Marcus replied. 2 would have been plenty. "They don't know us yet. They will." The alien fleet was massive. Hundreds of ships surrounded Earth's solar system. Each ship carried creatures that had destroyed entire worlds. The smallest warriors were 7 feet tall. The largest needed special ships because they were the size of buildings. On the main command vessel, Admiral Zekthar studied reports about human military strength. Earth had impressive technology, but nothing that could stop the culling. Their weapons were designed to fight other humans, not creatures that could survive in the vacuum of space or regenerate from mortal wounds. "How many humans are approaching?" he asked his aide. "Our sensors detect one small ship with 2 life forms aboard." Zekthar laughed. The sound was like metal scraping against stone. 2? They send 2 humans against 10,000 killers? These creatures are even more foolish than we thought. Other alien commanders joined the laughter. Some of them had been killing for centuries. The idea that 2 humans could threaten them was hilarious. "Should we destroy their ship?" the aide asked. "No, let them come. Our warriors need entertainment before the real killing begins. Perhaps we can make these 2 last for hours before they die." The human ship docked with an abandoned space station near Mars. Sarah and Marcus disembarked quickly and quietly. Within minutes, their ship was gone, returning to Earth on autopilot. "Station manifest shows 847 aliens aboard," Sarah said, reading from a device that looked like a simple tablet. "Mixed species, mostly scouts and advance teams. Guard schedules? Predictable. They're not expecting trouble this far from their main fleet. Weapons? Standard energy rifles and melee weapons. Nothing we haven't seen before." Marcus smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Age before beauty? Sarah was already moving toward an air vent. "I'll take the upper levels. You get the command center. See you for dinner? If there's anyone left to cook it." They separated without another word. Years of practice made conversation unnecessary. Each knew exactly what the other would do. Sarah crawled through the station's maintenance tunnels. The aliens had not bothered to guard these passages. Why would they? No human could possibly threaten them in their own stronghold. She found her first target in a storage room, a Vorthan shadow stalker. The creature was 8 feet tall and covered in black armor that bent light around it. It could become invisible at will and had killed 3 human colonies single-handedly. Sarah watched it for 10 minutes, learning its movement patterns. The creature checked the room every 15 minutes, following the same route each time. It was professional, deadly, and completely predictable. When the Vorthan turned away from the door, Sarah dropped from the ceiling vent. Her feet made no sound. Her hands moved with surgical precision. The creature died without knowing it was being attacked. To anyone who found the body later, it would look like system failure. The alien's own armor had malfunctioned, creating a feedback loop that stopped its hearts. Meanwhile, Marcus had reached the command center through a different route. He studied the guards through hidden cameras. 12 Krillian berserkers protected the area. Each one was 9 feet tall and covered in natural armor that could stop tank shells. But armor meant nothing against the right pressure points. Marcus waited until the guards changed shifts. In the 30 seconds between old guards leaving and new guards arriving, he entered the command center. He moved like a whisper, like a shadow, like something that existed between one moment and the next. The first guard died while reaching for his weapon. The second died while opening his mouth to shout. The third managed to turn around before Marcus broke his neck. By the time the new guards arrived, Marcus was gone. All they found were their dead comrades and computers that no longer worked properly. The security cameras showed nothing. The sensors detected nothing. It was as if death itself had visited the command center and then disappeared. In space, Admiral Zekthar received the first reports of problems. "Station 7 has gone silent," his aide reported. "Equipment failure? Unknown. They were checking in normally, then nothing. Send a repair team. Already dispatched. They found bodies but no signs of attack. The humans appear to have suffered equipment malfunctions." Zekthar nodded. Human technology was unreliable. It was probably nothing, but on Station 7, Sarah and Marcus were just beginning their work. They had 835 more targets to eliminate, and the night was still young. The galaxy was about to learn its first lesson about human warfare. Sometimes, The most dangerous weapon is the one you never see coming. The killing began at Research Station Omega. Admiral Zekthar had chosen this target carefully. The station orbited Earth's moon and housed 300 human scientists. It had minimal defenses and no military presence. The perfect place to demonstrate what the culling could do. 50 Vorthan Shadowstalkers approached the station in small ships that looked like asteroids. These creatures were the galaxy's finest assassins. They could become invisible to most forms of detection. They could walk through walls by vibrating their molecules at specific frequencies. They had never failed a mission. The station's sensors detected nothing as the Vorthans docked and entered through maintenance airlocks. Within minutes, they were inside the station's corridors, hunting for their first victims. Commander Veltar led the assault team. He had killed over 1,000 beings in his long career. Humans would be easy prey compared to the armored warriors he usually fought. These soft creatures had no natural weapons, no enhanced senses, no combat instincts. Remember, he told his warriors through their mental link, we want fear before death. Let them see us coming. Let them run. Terror makes the blood taste sweeter. The Vorthans split into groups and began stalking through the station. They found the first humans in Laboratory 7, 5 scientists working late on some research project. The creatures deactivated their invisibility and appeared like nightmares made real. The scientists screamed and ran, exactly as expected. Veltar smiled, showing rows of black teeth. This was going to be enjoyable. But when his team reached the next laboratory, they found something unexpected. 3 dead Vorthans lay in the maintenance tunnels. Their armor was intact. Their weapons were unused. They had simply stopped living. Report. Veltar demanded. Silence. Team 3, respond. More silence. Veltar's blood went cold. Vorthans did not simply die without cause. Their biology was too advanced. Their training too complete. All teams returned to the entry point immediately, but as his warriors tried to retreat, they began disappearing one by one. Not killed in battle, not overwhelmed by superior force. They just vanished. The security cameras showed nothing. The motion sensors detected nothing. But Vorthan warriors who had survived 100 battles were dying like insects. In the station's central computer core, Sarah Chen worked with mechanical precision. She had studied Vorthan anatomy for years, waiting for a chance to put her knowledge to use. These creatures had 3 hearts, redundant nervous systems, and armor that could stop energy weapons. But they also had a weakness that no one in the galaxy knew about. A specific pressure point behind their 3rd heart that could cause instant cardiac arrest. Sarah had discovered this during the Mars incident, when she dissected a dead Vorthan terrorist. One touch in the right place, and even the galaxy's deadliest assassin would die quietly. She moved through the maintenance tunnels like water, flowing around obstacles and appearing wherever the Vorthans least expected. Her years as a librarian had taught her to move silently. Her training as a killer had taught her to strike without warning. Each Vorthan died thinking they had suffered equipment failure or medical emergency. None of them realized they were being hunted. Commander Veltar was the last to die. Sarah found him in the station's command center, frantically trying to contact his ship. When he saw her approach, he laughed. A human female? You think to threaten Veltar? The undefeated? Sarah said nothing. She studied his stance, his armor placement, the way he held his weapons. All the information she needed to end him. I have killed warriors 10 times your size. Veltar continued. I have destroyed armies. I have ended civilizations. You are nothing but soft meat, waiting to be carved. Sarah moved. Not quickly, not dramatically, just a simple step forward and a precise movement of her hand. She touched the Vorthan behind his 3rd heart for exactly 1 second. Veltar stopped talking. His eyes went wide. His 3 hearts stopped beating in perfect sequence. He fell to the floor like a puppet with cut strings. 50 down, Sarah said quietly. Meanwhile, on Luna, Marcus faced a different challenge. The moon's surface crawled with alien warriors setting up the main invasion base. Krillian berserkers worked alongside Nexari mindhunters and Gorvak bonebreakers. Thousands of creatures that had conquered entire star systems. Marcus watched them from a crater half a mile away. His suit was perfectly camouflaged against the lunar rock. Even if someone looked directly at him, their brain would interpret what they saw as just another shadow. The alien base was a masterpiece of military engineering. Energy barriers protected the perimeter. Automated turrets covered every approach. Patrols of mixed species ensured no area went unwatched. It was also exactly what Marcus had hoped for. He waited until the night shift began. Different species had different sleep cycles, which meant some areas would have reduced security while certain aliens rested. Marcus entered the base through the waste disposal system. Aliens might be advanced, but they still produced garbage. And garbage had to go somewhere. The disposal tunnels were too small for most warrior species, but perfect for a human who knew how to move quietly. His first target was the communications center. If he could disrupt alien coordination, their superior numbers would become a disadvantage. The center was guarded by 6 Krillian berserkers. Each one was 9 feet tall, covered in natural armor, and armed with weapons that could cut through tank steel. They were also completely focused on external threats. Marcus had learned long ago that the best way to defeat superior enemies was to make them defeat themselves. He accessed the base's computer systems through a maintenance port. His fingers moved like a pianist playing a complex symphony, entering commands faster than any alien could follow. First, he triggered a false alarm in the eastern sector. Half the guards rushed to investigate. Then he activated the fire suppression system in the northern armory. More guards left to check on the weapons. Finally, he sent a fake message to the communications center. Urgent repairs needed in reactor bay. Send technical team immediately. 2 of the remaining berserkers left to handle the imaginary problem. That left only 4 guards in the communications center. Still impossible odds for most beings. But Marcus was not most beings. He entered through the ceiling, dropping down behind the first guard and breaking its neck before it could turn around. The second guard died when Marcus redirected its own weapon's energy back into its armor. The third and fourth guards had time to react, but not time to effectively fight. Marcus had studied Krillian combat techniques for months. He knew exactly how they would move, how they would attack, where they would be vulnerable. 30 seconds later, the communications center was silent. Marcus began his real work, turning the alien base's own systems against its occupants. He sent false orders that scattered patrols in different directions. He activated security lockdowns that trapped warriors in their own barracks. He triggered equipment failures that left entire sectors without power or life support. But his masterpiece was the training simulation. Marcus activated the base's combat programs and set them to maximum difficulty. Suddenly, every alien warrior found themselves under attack. By their own training systems, the base erupted in chaos. Creatures that had never known fear began panicking as their own weapons turned against them. Species that had conquered worlds found themselves trapped by their own security measures. Admiral Zekthar received the first reports 2 hours after midnight. "Sir, we're receiving distress calls from the Luna base." "What kind of distress calls?" "Equipment failures, communication breakdowns, training accidents." "The reports are contradictory. Some teams claim they're under attack, but our sensors show no enemy forces." Zekthar's 4 eyes narrowed. "And Station Omega?" "No response for 6 hours. We sent a repair team, but they found the station empty. All systems functional, no signs of battle, but no life forms detected. The Vorthans? Gone. We found their equipment, their weapons, even their armor. But no bodies. No trace of what happened to them." For the first time in his military career, Admiral Zekthar felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Uncertainty. "How many humans did you say approached our perimeter?" 2 life forms on 1 small ship. Zekthar stared at the tactical display. 50 Vorthans, dead or missing. His Luna base in chaos. 200 elite warriors reporting equipment failures and mysterious accidents. "Find those humans. Find them now." But Sarah and Marcus were already gone, moving like ghosts through the alien fleet. They had work to do. and the night was still young. The galaxy's deadliest killers were about to learn what it felt like to be prey. Admiral Zekthar stared at the tactical display in growing horror. In 12 hours, his unstoppable force had lost over 300 warriors, not to superior weapons or overwhelming numbers, but to 2 humans who seemed to kill at will. Report from Battle Group 7, his aide announced. More equipment failures? Worse. They found Commander Gexval dead in his command chair. No wounds. No signs of struggle. Their best medics say his brain simply stopped working. Zekthar's hands trembled. Gexval was a Nexari mindhunter, one of only 12 in existence. These creatures could read thoughts, predict actions, and drive enemies insane with a look. They were considered unkillable by conventional means. What about the Gorvak Bonebreakers? 7 dead. Found in their sleeping chambers with their necks broken. Security cameras show nothing. Motion sensors detected nothing. They died in their sleep. This was impossible. Gorvak Bonebreakers slept with one brain hemisphere awake at all times. They could detect threats from miles away. Their bones were harder than steel. Their reflexes faster than any known species. Sir. Another aide interrupted. Incoming transmission from the Hegemony Council. The main screen filled with familiar faces. 12 alien leaders representing the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. They had sent this fleet to make an example of humanity. Now they wanted answers. Admiral, spoke Counselor Thexmare. Her insect-like features twisted in anger. Explain why our most elite warriors are dying to 2 humans. The humans are using unknown technology. Some kind of stealth system we cannot detect. Unknown technology? Counselor Vorgath laughed, his massive bulk shaking. These creatures barely have faster-than-light travel. What technology could they possess that we do not? Zekthar had no answer. For the past 12 hours, his intelligence teams had analyzed every second of security footage, every sensor reading, every piece of evidence from the attacks. They found nothing that explained how 2 humans were systematically destroying forces that had conquered star systems. Perhaps, said Counselor Yelnara slowly, we underestimated these humans. The other counselors laughed. The idea was ridiculous. Humans had been in space for less than 2 centuries. They controlled only 3 star systems. Their technology was primitive. Their military weak, but the laughter died as new reports arrived. Battle Group 3 is requesting immediate evacuation, an aide reported. They've lost 60% of their forces to mysterious deaths and equipment failures. Battle Group 9 reports similar casualties. Long-range scouts have simply vanished. No distress calls, no wreckage, just empty space where our ships used to be. Counselor Thexamar leaned forward. How many humans are attacking our forces? Our best intelligence suggests still just 2. Silence filled the command center. The most powerful beings in the galaxy stared at reports that made no sense. 2 humans were defeating 10,000 of their finest warriors. It was then that the communication came from Earth, not from any government or military leader, but from a voice none of them had heard before. Galactic Hegemony Fleet, this is Earth Central Command. We need to talk. Admiral Zekthar almost laughed. You wish to negotiate surrender? No. We want to explain what you're facing before you lose any more people unnecessarily. The voice was calm, professional, without any trace of fear. It belonged to a human who sounded like he was discussing the weather. You cannot threaten us, Counselor Vorgath roared. We have 10,000 killers. You had 10,000 killers. Current count shows approximately 7,400 still alive, and that number is dropping every hour. The aliens checked their own casualty reports. The human was right. Exactly right. Who is this? Zekthar demanded. Director Harrison, Earth Strategic Defense Initiative. The 2 people currently eliminating your forces are operating under my orders. 2 humans cannot. Admiral, let me explain something about human warfare. You see, when your species developed space travel, you focused on bigger ships, stronger weapons, more destructive technology. You fight wars by throwing overwhelming force at your enemies. The human's voice remained calm and patient. like a teacher explaining something to slow students. Humans took a different approach. We studied every alien species we encountered. We learned your weaknesses, your psychology, your combat patterns. We prepared for the day when superior numbers would threaten us. Impossible, Counselor Yelnara hissed. No species could. Agent Chen and Agent Volkov are what we call shepherds. They were selected as children and trained for one purpose: to protect human colonies from exactly this kind of threat. New information began appearing on alien screens, personnel files that should not exist, training records that defied belief, video footage that showed impossible things. Sarah Chen, age 8. Learning to move without making sound. Sarah at 12. Studying alien anatomy. Sarah at 16. Practicing combat techniques against holographic aliens. Sarah at 20. Ending her first terrorist crisis by eliminating 37 hostiles in 4 hours. Marcus Volkov, age 7. Learning to become invisible in plain sight. Marcus at 10. Memorizing the psychological profiles of 14 alien species. Marcus at 15. Infiltrating a secure facility and remaining undetected for 6 months. Marcus at 22. Stopping a corporate war by eliminating both sides' leadership in a single night. Every human colony ship carries shepherds, Director Harrison continued. They pose as teachers, librarians, mechanics, farmers. But when threats arise, they become something else entirely. Admiral Zekthar felt his blood freeze. How many shepherds do you have? Currently active? About 12,000 across all human settlements. In training? Approximately 40,000 more. The number hit the alien commanders like a physical blow. 12,000 humans trained to kill alien warriors. 40,000 more learning the same skills. But that's impossible, Counselor Thexmare whispered. We would have detected such a program. Admiral, how long has your intelligence service been monitoring Earth? 50 years. And in all that time, did you ever notice Sarah Chen or Marcus Volkov? Zekthar checked his records. No mention of either name, no photographs, no data at all. That's because shepherds are invisible to normal observation. They live normal lives, have normal jobs, raise normal families. Until they don't, the screens showed more footage. Sarah Chen teaching children in a library, reading stories and helping with homework. Marcus Volkov coaching a youth sports team, laughing with kids after practice. Then the same people in different footage. Sarah eliminating a Vorthan terrorist cell in complete silence. Marcus infiltrating an alien smuggling operation and destroying it from within. You see, Admiral, while your species was perfecting the art of open warfare, we were perfecting the art of invisible war. Your warriors are trained to fight other warriors. Our shepherds are trained to end threats before anyone knows threats existed. Counselor Vorgath was sweating despite his climate-controlled chamber. What are you saying? I'm saying that Agent Chen and Agent Volkov are not special forces. They're not elite warriors. They're standard shepherds. Every human colony has people exactly like them. The implications hit the alien leaders like a tsunami. If these two humans were not unusual, if every human settlement had similar protectors, then the hegemony had not just underestimated Earth's defenses, they had completely misunderstood what they were facing. Furthermore, Director Harrison continued, while you were preparing to fight our military, we were preparing to fight your entire civilization. What does that mean? It means, Admiral, that your warriors are not just being eliminated by our people. They're being studied. Every combat technique, every weakness, every psychological trait is being recorded and analyzed. When this is over, we will know exactly how to defeat any species in your hegemony. The alien commanders looked at each other in growing panic. They had come to destroy a primitive species. Instead, they were providing that species with detailed intelligence about the galaxy's most dangerous warriors. You have a choice, Director Harrison said. Withdraw your forces now, and we'll stop the elimination process. Continue this attack, and we'll demonstrate why human children sleep peacefully at night, despite knowing what waits in the dark between stars. Admiral Zekthar stared at his casualty reports. In 15 hours, 2 humans had killed or disabled over 400 of his warriors. At this rate, his entire force would be eliminated within a week. For the first time in his career, the galaxy's most feared military leader considered retreat. But the decision was taken out of his hands when new alarms began blaring throughout the fleet. Agent Chen and Agent Volkov had just boarded the flagship. The real killing was about to begin. The flagship's alarms screamed through every corridor. But Admiral Zekthar knew it was already too late. 2 humans had somehow infiltrated the most secure vessel in the galactic fleet. Every sensor, every camera, every detection system had failed to spot them. "Lock down all sections," he ordered. "Seal the bulkheads. Deploy emergency response teams." His aide's hands shook as he worked the controls. "Sir, we're receiving reports of casualties throughout the ship. Security teams are finding bodies, but no attackers. How many dead?" 17 in the past 10 minutes. All elite guards. All killed without any sign of struggle. Enter 4. Complice. Zekthar felt something he had not experienced in centuries of warfare. Pure terror. These were not random deaths. This was systematic extermination, carried out by predators who moved like shadows and killed like natural disasters. In the ship's lower decks, Sarah Chen moved through the maintenance tunnels with mechanical precision. She had studied the blueprints of this vessel class during her training 15 years ago. Every corridor, every junction, every weak point was mapped in her memory. Her targets were the ship's senior officers. Cut off the head, and the body would follow. She found the first one in engineering, Commander Dex Mari, a Nexari mindhunter who could read thoughts from half a mile away. But reading thoughts required knowing someone was there to read. Sarah appeared behind the alien like death made manifest, her hand finding the precise nerve cluster that would stop its brain functions instantly. Commander Dex Mari died without ever knowing it was in danger. Meanwhile, Marcus worked his way toward the command bridge through a different route. His path took him through the ship's computer core, where he planted small devices that looked like routine maintenance components. Each device gave him access to a different ship system: communications, navigation, life support, weapons. One by one, they fell under his control. He passed 12 alien warriors without any of them noticing. His movement training taught him to become invisible, not through technology, but through perfect understanding of how alien minds worked. When someone expected to see empty corridors, they would see empty corridors, even with a human standing right in front of them. The first alien to die from Marcus's hand was Captain Vorseth, a Gorvak bonebreaker who had personally destroyed 3 human colonies during the early contact wars. The creature was reviewing tactical reports when Marcus appeared beside its chair like a ghost materializing from shadow. One precise strike to the base of its skull, and the galaxy's most feared destroyer became just another casualty. "Bridge security, respond," Admiral Zekthar called over the communication system. Silence. "Engineering section, report status." More silence. "All sections, emergency count. I need casualty reports immediately." The responses that came back painted a picture of systematic annihilation. The humans were not just killing randomly. They were eliminating specific targets: communications officers, tactical specialists, senior commanders, technical experts. Every alien who made the ship function was dying. "Sir," his aide whispered. "Incoming transmission from Earth." Director Harrison's voice filled the bridge. "Admiral, your ship is currently being neutralized. Your officers are being eliminated in order of importance to your mission. You have perhaps 20 minutes before your vessel becomes completely inoperative." "Where are they?" Zekthar screamed. "Where are your killers?" "Agent Chen is currently 17 decks below you, working her way through your tactical staff. Agent Volkov is in your computer core, ensuring that none of your systems will function properly when he's finished." As if responding to these words, the lights on the bridge flickered. Then the artificial gravity fluctuated. Then the air circulation system began producing an odd humming sound. "You cannot do this," Counselor Thexmer's voice came over the communication link from the Hegemony Council. "We have thousands of ships, millions of warriors. You cannot defeat the entire galaxy with 2 humans." "Counselor," Director Harrison replied calmly, We're not trying to defeat the entire galaxy. We're demonstrating why the galaxy should leave us alone. New data began appearing on alien screens. Real-time footage from security cameras throughout the flagship. But the cameras showed empty corridors, functional equipment, normal operations, yet officers kept dying. Your technology cannot detect our people because it's designed to fight your kind of war, Harrison explained. You build massive ships because you think bigger is better. You create powerful weapons because you believe force solves problems. You train warriors to fight other warriors because that's how your species evolved. An explosion echoed through the ship as something vital failed in the engineering section. Humans evolved differently. We learned to hunt creatures larger and stronger than ourselves. We developed tools to overcome superior enemies. Most importantly, we learned that the best way to win a fight is to ensure your enemy never knows they're in a fight until it's over. Admiral Zekthar watched his tactical display as his ship died around him. One by one, critical systems went offline. Not destroyed, not damaged, just turned off by someone who understood them better than their creators. The question now, Harrison continued, is whether you want this to be the end of the demonstration or the beginning of a larger conflict. What do you mean? Agent Chen and Agent Volkov have been aboard your flagship for 37 minutes. In that time, they have neutralized 43 of your senior staff and compromised every critical system on your ship. Your vessel is now completely under our control. The bridge lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, but even that felt uncertain. However, they have not killed you, Admiral. They have not destroyed your ship. They have not eliminated your crew. Do you know why? Zekthar's voice was barely a whisper. Why? Because this was never about killing. This was about teaching. You needed to understand what human warfare actually looks like before you made the mistake of starting a real war with us. The main screen flickered and changed. Instead of showing space, it now displayed a view of the bridge taken from somewhere impossible. There were no cameras in that position. Sarah Chen stepped into view. She stood in the bridge's main doorway, calm and relaxed, as if she belonged there. Her clothes were still clean. Her breathing was still normal. Nothing about her suggested she had just killed 43 alien warriors. Behind her, Marcus Volkov appeared from a maintenance hatch that should have been too small for a human to use. He carried a tablet that displayed complete control over the ship's systems. Admiral, Sarah said politely, Director Harrison would like to offer you a choice. Zekthar stared at the two humans who had destroyed his invasion force. They looked so ordinary, so harmless, like the teachers and farmers they pretended to be when they weren't killing. What choice? He managed to ask. Marcus spoke for the first time since boarding the ship. You can order your fleet to withdraw immediately. In exchange, we will restore your ship's systems and provide medical attention to your wounded. This incident will be recorded as a training exercise that went badly wrong. Or, Zekthar asked, or we demonstrate what happens when humans stop being polite. Sarah replied. The Admiral looked at his remaining crew. 12 aliens remained alive on the bridge out of the original 50. His ship was dead in space. His invasion force was scattered and demoralized. If I order a withdrawal, the Council will court-martial me. No. Director Harrison's voice came through the speakers. They won't. Because in approximately 10 minutes, they're going to receive a complete tactical analysis of this engagement. They'll learn exactly how two humans eliminated a significant portion of your force without using any advanced technology. The screens changed again, showing detailed reports of every engagement, every death, every system failure. The analysis was thorough, professional, and absolutely terrifying. They'll also receive psychological profiles of Agent Chen and Agent Volkov, along with confirmation that Earth has 12,000 more shepherds exactly like them scattered throughout human space. Counselor Vorgoth's voice came through the communication link, heavy with defeat. Admiral, order the withdrawal. Sir? You heard the director. These humans have made their point. We cannot fight an enemy we cannot see, cannot predict, and cannot understand. Admiral Zekthar looked one more time at the two humans standing calmly on his bridge. They had destroyed his invasion force, conquered his flagship, and humiliated the greatest military power in the galaxy. And they had done it while remaining perfectly polite. All ships, he announced over the fleet communication system. Immediate withdrawal to hegemony space. This operation is concluded. As the alien fleet began its retreat, Sarah and Marcus quietly restored the flagship systems. They worked efficiently, professionally, making sure every critical component functioned properly. When they were finished, they simply walked to the main airlocks and left the ship. No dramatic exit, no final threats, no gloating. They departed as quietly as they had arrived. 6 months later, the Galactic Council officially recognized human sovereignty over their claimed territories. The vote was unanimous. The treaty included specific language prohibiting any military action against human interests. In the margins of the official documents, intelligence agencies throughout the galaxy added their own notes. Threat assessment. Extinction event. Containment status. Impossible. Recommendation. Peaceful coexistence, strongly advised. On Earth, Sarah Chen returned to her job at the university library. Students often commented on how knowledgeable she was about alien cultures, and how patient she remained no matter how stressed they became. Marcus Volkov went back to teaching elementary school. The children loved him because he could make any lesson interesting, and because he always seemed to know when they needed help, even before they asked. Neither of them spoke about what had happened beyond Luna. They didn't need to speak about it. The galaxy remembered for them. And in the deep space between stars, where alien ships traveled carefully marked trade routes, crews told stories about the humans who walked like shadows and killed like natural disasters. They spoke in whispers about the species that had turned invisible warfare into an art form. But mostly, they talked about the lesson Earth had taught the galaxy. Never threaten someone who has spent thousands of years learning to kill creatures bigger and stronger than themselves. The human children still slept peacefully at night. Now the aliens knew why.